Hey guys, Dr. Nick here, and I'm at the clinic. It's Thursday evening, and I'm just going to be talking to you today a little bit about one of our favorite new biohacks, which is optimizing your water. How many of you are drinking tap water, or how many of you are using some sort of filter to clean the water that you're drinking, and how many of you know what's in your drinking water? You know, why is filtering your water important? There's so many different things to consider when it comes to water. We've been told the pH is important, the mineral content is important. What kind of is it structured? What do you need to know about water? And I think just simplifying things down to quality, as in like how clean is the water, is the first step, which is going to dictate your ability to hydrate. I think that's the first step. And so there's two basic processes that we've come to understand that are really important when it comes to cleaning your water. One is through distillation, which is basically heating up water, evaporating it, and then having some sort of carbon-based tool to basically pull out whatever toxins are left over after that process. Step two is reverse osmosis. This is basically a wrapping unit of this proper filter paper where this water has to penetrate through many layers, high surface area that's going to extract pesticides, chemicals, metals, all sorts of different things that are in the water. And you can find systems that you can either put under your sink or you can put on your countertop. The one we just got is this countertop model. And this countertop model is kind of simple. There's not much to it. Basically, you put water on one side of the tank, it filters that water through, and then you get this clean and clear water on the other side. Now, the thing about reverse osmosis, it literally strips everything out. And so, you need to put some minerals back in. The ones that we're experimenting with right now are called Kenton minerals, developed by a French guy way back in the early or late 1800s. And this mineral deposit that's been extracted out of the ocean is super concentrated in all the essential minerals and micro minerals that we just don't really know about now. And how we're taught about this is really, you got to look at the periodic table. All the 78 to 90 different minerals that are on the periodic table, really you got to get that back into your body. And so when you think of like pH buffering, the pH, what happens to high pH water? Well, you drink that water, it hits the acid of the stomach, and it kind of neutralizes that change in pH. And so pH isn't, in our minds, as important as actually just clean water. The other interesting thing is, you think of like spring water. Here in Vancouver, we probably have some cleaner water than many parts of the world. A lot of our water comes down from the mountains, but it doesn't really, when you're getting that water coming down from the mountains, it doesn't mean it's spending a ton of time remineralizing. And so remineralization actually takes many years, maybe thousands of years, to really get true deposits of these minerals back into the water. And so, when you're filtering your water, you got to think about remineralization, which is extremely important. By far the cleanest way to take care of that dirty water, that water that potentially has contaminants in it, is going to be through reverse osmosis. And then you always want to think about how are you going to put those minerals back into the water. That's extremely important, because one of our common issues in the world that we live in is we're getting too much toxicity, not enough of the minerals, the fatty acids, the amino acids, and those minerals, really we can get a lot of those from our water if we're doing it properly. So thinking about biohacking this year, what if you just started with clean water? Have you tested your water? What are you doing right now? Take a look at that, because we could be adding to the toxicity burden, especially if you're living in centers where you're not around high rain areas, or your city water is being recycled, which is definitely going to be more likely to have medications, and whatever you're pouring down your drain essentially is going to get into the water supply. So that could be metals, it could be pesticides, it could be medications, all sorts of different things. So you want to make sure that what you're putting in your body is as clean as you can. You want to find a good way to do that. I put a link to the unit that we're using in this feed. You can check it out there. It's called AquaTrue. And then I don't have much to say on the Kinton minerals. I know they sound amazing. I've just started using them to add it into the water. I'll give you more feedback as we go with that one to let you know. But we've constantly, or over the years, have definitely used trace minerals to add into the water just to give it a little bit more structure. You can do that with salt too. There's lots of other good things, but Kinton is meant to be from a really pristine area, so which is why we're using that. So yeah, it's a simple one, guys. Like, clean that water you're drinking, find a good unit to clean that water that you are, good filter system. Reverse osmosis is probably the best one. If you've got an under the sink one, this is important. If you've got an under the sink one that has a large bladder, it potentially can house more bacteria or microbes, because that bladder is not draining on a daily basis. When you've got a smaller unit, you know that you're putting new water in there, it's getting recycled every day. And that's a really important part to the reverse osmosis system. So hopefully that'll help with some of your biohacks for this year, and we'll see you next time.